Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Special thank you to our sponsors of The Experience Live with Russ and Scott, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams in Lebanon, Oregon. For more information, go to teamgillette.com. And the Aging Better Network with Christine Smith. For more information, go to agingbetternetwork.com. Now your host, Russ and Scott. There we are. I introduced us and we are ready to go.
And here's your host, us. I love that.
That's right. Well, you got to change things up and make them fun, right?
Well, good morning, Russ. Good to be back in Independence, just a few miles from where you are.
That is so true. We're glad to have you back. And what an amazing trip you had. Talk about the experience of life. You had a good experience in Texas the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we saw a bunch of Texas, Dallas, Waco, Austin, Corpus Christi, Houston, and San Antonio. And last week, of course, doing the tea break from where were we? In San Antonio. And then broadcasting the experience and the experience local from various locations across Texas. So I forget.
Yeah, that was amazing that you got the experience local in, and you did that right as the eclipse was happening. And that was a lot of fun. So grateful that, we have technology and we can have amazing backgrounds, even eclipses.
Yeah, that was fun. I was in Waco in the hotel lobby and got everything set up, and it just worked out great. Just a lot of fun. I like doing the remote stuff, but I'll tell you, it's just comfortable to be home with my own desk and chair and surroundings. It feels comfortable.
Oh, I hear you. Well, because it's kind of all good to go. You have a lot less worry about setting things up and making sure things are going to work good when you're in your own surroundings. So, well, that's great.
Yeah, we were gone for just over 2 weeks, and I did put a post out about this on LinkedIn, and this is one of the things, Russ, that you and I talk about a lot is how can you survive being gone that long, or when things change around you, and it's habits, routines, and rituals. And so I started my day the same way I would if I was home. I get up and make coffee, read the Bible, do some journaling, kind of look at the calendar for the day, just really get some things set. And I know you have a set routine, and that's part of what makes life flow well for you.
Oh, my goodness, for sure. I mean, you and I are on the same path because you have helped form half my life, Scott. So there you go. I am blessed to have you in my life. Yes, every morning I do have a very set routine and great morning habits. There's some things that we do really well that we need to tell ourselves, hey, you do that really well. And you know what? I can tell myself my morning, I do it really well. I'm very organized. I can actually, because I get up early, I can actually live about 2 or 3 days in the first 4 hours of the day because I'm so productive. But yes, I definitely do that. And, that helped me through COVID, Scott. Being able to have that same routine and do things. And I was found ways online to do some of the things I was doing in person, like, networking and doing stuff like that helped me keep my sanity, number one, because I need people, but also helped me really keep that normalcy in my life. Right.
Absolutely.
So,
that's what makes a difference.
It does. Totally does. And hey, I want to thank everybody for being here. Just remind you, we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on The Experience, live with Russ and Scott every Wednesday. And, we're so blessed to have amazing groups. Like we have Ellie and Conrad with us today from different parts of the world. We are going from Bulgaria to Florida to Oregon, and we are covering all the different areas here. And so, so anyway, we are so thankful for technology and that. But 7 a.m. is when we're here every week. Before that, we actually are on the Experience Backstage live with Russ Scott and Shri. Shri's one of our friends from Texas and from Houston. And the three of us are on leading into this show, kind of a backstage look. And Shri gives amazing video tips, which we're really, really thankful for. But we want to tell you guys, all these shows are put out there and are, post and advertisements on social media and everything you see. Share that out. We'd love for you to share that out. And we'd love for you to share this today while you're here. Share and tag your friends. Let them know in the comments, you need to be watching this because there is amazing stuff going on. And and last thing, please join our YouTube community. You go to the experience.video for our YouTube, and we would love for you to be part of that. We're trying to grow that community as well as the Scott. You could talk about this one. You created a landing page for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to local.theexperience.video and you can get our YouTube links, LinkedIn links, links to our books, not all the books, but the primary books. And Russ has published a number of books, especially some international best-selling books, collaborative books. Great way to get started. And but I'm just going to say, follow our YouTube channel, not because of Russ and Scott, although we're fun and cool. It's because of people like our guests, Ellie and Conrad. What they have to share can be life-changing. And take a listen, share it with your friends, and prove me wrong.
And I'm telling you, we're going to bring them in here next. But I want to tell you that when we bring guests on, Scott's not kidding. It could be life-changing. We provide all of the connection links. So this short, quick hitter show that gives you just a spotlight for a moment on these amazing people can lead you to actual connection with them and actual collaboration, work, life, just friends. It's amazing what comes out of that. So I think we need to get rolling. And as always, Scott, we usually go ladies first. So we're going to get Ellie in the room with her big smile. Here she is, Elitza Stoilova. I see I don't pronounce that right, so I should have say Ellie.
No, it was perfect. Good morning, Russ and Scott. It was perfect.
Morning. And good afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock p.m. here.
Well, Ellie, you are such a bright light and such an amazing friend in a short amount of time. I just love talking to you. And the minute you and I talked, I thought we have got to have Ellie on the experience because we look for amazing people and you're definitely one of those. So we just want you to give a little spotlight. Who is Ellie and what are you up to?
Who is Ellie? Currently, I am the CEO of a no-code AI chatbot platform. I'm running a small team that help businesses automate the customer communication and automate sales and marketing and help businesses save time and resources, help customers by being there 24/7. That's what I do currently. But in the past, I was a general manager of a hotel. And before that, I was a journalist. So I travel around in North Africa and in Asia Pacific.
So this is great because having been in the tourism industry, a general manager with a hotel, you understand about the customer experience. And so now you're being able to take that and bring that into the AI chatbot. And so tell us a little bit about the chatbot, because this is not just stilted, pre-programmed, right? I mean, this is really going to help enhance the customer's experience.
Yes, exactly. My experience in hospitality was what actually motivated me to go down the road to AI chatbots. Just witnessing myself for over 20 years, the communication with customers and how much time it takes and how much routine the communication and the task with customers has. So that was actually the reason I co-founded the platform and started working on the AI chatbots. The AI chatbot itself, for the people that don't know what AI chatbot is or are confused that AI chatbot is actually ChatGPT, I have to say that AI chatbots are software solutions that imitate the conversation with a person and automate the communication, provide customers with answers on frequently asked questions, and automate routine tasks. So GPT, on the other side, is a technology that power AI, business AI chatbots. But the business AI chatbots do much more than just offering answers to frequently asked questions, because they can provide customer with suggestion, with more information, with different forms to fill. The forms from there can take the information and send it to your CRM or reservation system or to your Google Sheet or to your mailing system to start for customers a drop campaign with emails. So here the business AI chatbots also help with the sales and marketing of the business. And because today this is a really affordable technology and very easy to use technology, even the small businesses like mom and dad businesses or one-man businesses can use this technology to help themselves and help the customers and the employees.
Right. And, that is something that I love what you highlighted there, because it doesn't matter how big you are and how known you are currently, you have all these tools available to you. And I think what's important too is keeping that personal side. And that's where you do so many amazing things, because I know you and how you are. And it's getting people to understand that just because you use technology doesn't mean it has to be impersonal. And with that, we're going to jump in and get Conrad in the room and then keep talking. But Conrad Ruiz is another amazing individual. Here he is. Good morning, Conrad.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, Russ. Hey, Scott. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Scott.
So, I want you to let everybody know, Conrad, a little bit about you, because you and I have been able to chat and I've been able to learn so much, and you're doing amazing things. Give everybody a little highlight. Who is Conrad? What are you up to?
Grateful to be here, Russ. Thank you. My name is Conrad Ruiz. I am the founder of WellAware. WellAware is a time management agency. I've been helping incredibly busy business owners buy back their time. I do it namely in three ways. One is I look at providing virtual assistants. I have a team that I have vetted and qualified and worked with that I bring on a fractional basis to just help take care of things that people simply don't have the time to do or don't find it's within their space of energy or not within their space of skill. Beyond that, I love looking at the broader operational sense of how a business is running. And I really love to fine tune where I think there could be an efficiency opportunity, where I think certain things could be removed from the business. They don't have to be performed because they're not necessarily producing the value that we might think they initially wanted to bring on. I sort of bring in that consultative perspective to time and operations management alongside my VAs. And then last but not least, whatever my team and I discover that we've seen that's really rote, that kind of operates within this sort of general scheme, like we've seen this over and over again, and we know that this task can be automated, then we'll make the pitch. We'll say, hey, can we automate this particular solution for you? We think it's going to be a lot more cost effective, and we think it's going to save a lot more time in the long run. That's WellAware.
Yeah, Conrad, I love this because I often joke and say time and money, right? We have too much of both. And we can generate more money, but we cannot generate more time. So what are some key things that people might ask themselves or ask you to help just kind of manage this time?
I think you have to look at yourself from a third person perspective. And I think you have to draw on this sense of self-awareness, but from a distance. To get a little bit more pragmatic, you could look into every single little operation that you take, from the way you address your inbox, the way you had to handle your calendar, the way you perform various operations within marketing, sales, service fulfillment, finances, invoice operations, other types of administrative work. You have to imagine a world in which every single component of your business can be done by somebody else if they just knew what you knew. Now, the question is, how much do you need to know about yourself in order to get this job done? Because if the answer is very little, then that's the opportunity cost. That's the transition time between you having this operation in your responsibility, in your timeline, in your wheelhouse versus someone else.
Right. Well, see, I love people like you that are able to simplify things for people too, break it down and help them move in the right direction. And I think a lot of that, Ellie, comes about when you have technology to utilize along with that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that although people today hear a lot about AI and there is a lot of fear about the usage of artificial intelligence, basically when it comes to automating the customer communication, it all comes to prepare the right text in your database. Really extremely simple to manage such kind of projects. So I would highly encourage businesses and people to experiment, because the technology is not here to put us in trouble. The technology is here to save us time and resources and give us back the time to be better human beings.
And so, Conrad, what kind of tools might you implement for somebody?
There's such a wide variety of cases. I mean, I would even go so far as to say, Ellie, would love to learn more about how your AI system works. I am no stranger to, again, supporting technologies that are meant to ultimately automate certain processes away from human beings. I think as long as there's a clear understanding of, what's the expected result of any given operation, given that operation is being performed with human beings or through some type of technology, you just want to make sure that you have a good, let's call it meta operation, that's sort of stands above that system or above those individuals and says, how do we quality assure that this process is going well? Sorry, that doesn't answer your question necessarily, Scott, because it's like, you're kind of asking me, like, how does one run every single little component of their business? Like, where would you start?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, one thing I think that people so often, they get so confused by everything going on, whether they're using technology, whether they are, looking at using their time more wisely, and they need people in their life. This is where coaches or consultants, where people that have experience come in, like you two, are able to help people walk through this journey that can sometimes be so confusing. I'm sure, Ellie, you run into this all the time. People want to be more efficient. They want to save time and they want to use AI, but they don't want to be impersonal and have it, just completely. I think that's one of the biggest fears, completely taken over.
Yes, that's a concern that actually very legitimate, because the technology before was not that well developed. And so it was really very robotic, like I'll be back of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But the technology is developing really every 48 hours. And today the artificial intelligence are providing us with the opportunity to create content, live content for our customers that is very human-like. So the conversations with people, with customers, is very human-like. Usually, that's basically one of the reasons why in the European Union, one of the laws of the artificial intelligence regulations that has been implemented lately demand from AI chatbots to state at the beginning that they are AI chatbots, so people know that they're talking with artificial intelligence and not with another human beings. It's really look very human in the conversation, which is great because we can ensure very good customer service and support these days.
Yeah, and I think disclosing it is not a problem. And once people get used to something, they get used to it. In fact, they expect it, right? We expect that I can go to some business's website and know what hours they are or how to contact them and send them an email. This is something that we didn't do years ago, but now we expect it to happen. And so just on a practical side, Ellie, what kinds of websites, and I'm assuming there'd be a website, that we would put one of these chatbots? So WordPress or where would these go?
Actually, from a technological point of view, it doesn't matter what your website technology is, because the code of the chatbot is a small JavaScript that you place in the bottom of the entire code of your website. And here we go, your chatbot is there. So people shall not worry about the technology of their website. Chatbot can be placed in any website, as well on different platforms, CRMs, ERP systems, even in a mobile app that is online based. Chatbot can be implemented inside of the mobile app. So it's a very versatile technology that help you automate various tasks and operations and upscale the website with two-side communication instead of like just email or telephone number or anything else.
Yeah, I think the variety and the versatility of things today come down to one thing that people need, Conrad, and that is what is really working for me, right? How am I how is this working for my business, and how am I being more productive and more time efficient, right?
I think it's incredibly important to study what makes an operation flow towards closed business. I think every operation should be operating under those principles. Not to say that this is sort of just the cold, hard logic by which we live. I mean, to me, it's a philosophy on sustainability. How do I sustain this business? What keeps it running? I mean, at the end of the day, it's cash flow. It's your ability to produce income. And so I think when you look at a system such as Ellie's, for instance, and this is so funny. I was just thinking about, I really appreciate that we brought up this topic around how, we don't want to let go of certain things. That issue, as much as we have a conversation about that with AI, we've had that conversation for decades now in the realm of business when it comes to delegating to even other human beings, right? It's such a strange, that paradox has always existed, where we've had to find ourselves relinquishing control to someone or something else in order to seek about growth in our business. But needless to say, I think part of what makes that control, like what part of makes the peace of mind behind relinquishing that control is understanding what this system is doing and how it works. So I think AI behind, having to get into the entire design around the way it's providing its own service and system, the way it's providing this sort of human-like experience. I think just recognizing that it provides a human-like experience, just like any other human would, and that it goes about generating this conversation flow that leads people towards where they need to go in order to make a decision as to whether or not they want to do business with you. I think that is, as long as you have a clear understanding of how that particular operation works, you're going to be going to sleep at night.
We often use the phrase, only do what only you can do.
That's actually, Scott, very good remark, because I just wanted to back up Conrad with some additional comment. Basically, when you look at your business, your operations, whatever you do, even if it's your single person that work, it's very, very good to put aside the things that human must do and the things that human may not do. Human must do are the things that really we are very powerful, and this is the key of the customers, the touch, the human touch in the customer service, in support, in the customer communication, in sales and marketing. That's we shall reserve for ourselves or for our employees. And what people are not necessary to do, we better give that to technology, so we free more time for these special tasks that only humans or better humans do. So that's very easy. Basically, the planning sounds scary and huge as a job task, but it's very simple. You just think every single operation in your business, is it for a human must do, or it can be delegated? If it can be delegated to somebody else, can you delegate it to AI? And this way, a very easy step-by-step AI can take over some really routine tasks in every business to free more tasks to people to serve other people, to have more time to serve other people. It makes difference if you have 5 times per person to serve, or you have 25 minutes per person to serve. It really makes a huge difference.
Right. Yeah, I think that is important to differentiate those things. But we know behind everything, though, we humans have to be there making things happen, right? And so I think that, one thing, Conrad, you said that I really picked up on, and that sometimes people are really scared about. And I know myself at times have as outgoing as I am and as willing to do just about anything as I am. People have limiting beliefs about the cash flow and the actual production of their business. They can do a lot of the underlying things, but when it comes to the sales portion, then that kind of is like a dirty, nasty word sometimes. And the truth of it is, we all have to sell something. We're either selling ourselves, a service, a product, whatever. People have to get over that limiting belief and that whole concept that that's really bad, and realize they're there. If you're there to help people and you're there for the right reasons, everything leads you to that production point, right? Right, Conrad?
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a healthy mindset to say that you're producing a value that's greater than the cost of its goods. If I'm giving you a service that costs $15, that the value of that service is greater than the $15 it costs you. I think as long as you can always come through with that sense of math around, what exactly it is the value of your service brings to someone. And I mean, some of it is incredibly tangible, right? I would say in the realm of money, if you're paying ads for them and you're able to put in $100 worth of ads and you get $200 worth of business back, it's a very clear ROI. I think sometimes we forget that, when we trade our money for our time, we have a particular inherent value to our time as well. Some would argue it's priceless. Some would argue, well, within a given marketplace, depending on the nature of the tasks that I'm doing, the value of this task that I could be doing otherwise, as opposed to what I'm outsourcing towards or delegating or putting technology to, that can cost anywhere between 5, 10, 15, 100, 150, whatever that number is. But it's just a math. It's an equation that you can use to recognize that, like, hey, the value of my time and the value of my services is X. The way I go about making these trades is Y. That is a positive change. I'm introducing value to the system within this sort of greater marketplace, within society as a whole. You should feel great about that. Like, that's what business is all about at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. I agree. Scott?
Yeah, I was just thinking about little things like automation, right? So with the global tea break, when people register for that, there's automation that puts them into the mailing list, sends them reminders, lets Alan and I know that somebody has signed up for it. And I could do all of that, but I would also probably make mistakes. It would be delayed. I may mistype someone's email address. And so it makes my life much easier just to know that it's done and it's done correctly. But you do have to set it up to begin with. And so it takes an investment, but it saves a lot. And Conrad, this is what I see you're saying is that we have pain. We want to solve that pain. And then I make a trade-off. Am I going to live with the pain, or am I going to pay either time or money to find a solution for that?
Right. Yeah. Go for it, Conrad. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say that the interesting thing about Ellie's point surrounding AI, and that we can't ignore it, is AI has become this new bottom of the market. I don't mean bottom as in to say that it's lowly. I think it's actually incredibly highly valuable. But it's taking care on a cost basis so many incredibly diverse functions that would otherwise be taken on by human beings, because that was the inherent requirement. The bottom requirement for certain things, just based on technology pre-AI, was that this is what technology could take care of, and these is where a human element is required. We've now fundamentally shifted on that thought process, and the cost associated with going through an AI system as opposed through a human-based system is astronomically different. Like, just it proportionally, it's insane. I think that obviously terrifies people, because it makes them feel like, okay, well, what are all these people going to do now that all these diverse roles are no longer being required to be taken on, because something can do it at a much lower market value cost than the average human being, or what? I mean, in this case, we're not even talking about the average human being. Some things are surprisingly taken on by AI that, like, most people would require a certain level of adeptness to be able to do, and that's kind of the shocking part. But that being said, we've been in this game before. I know it's a little bit more exponential in growth, and it's only going to get even more crazy. But look at the general trend, and just run with the market. Figure out how you're going to work with this.
I was just thinking about, just a real simple example was when heavy equipment comes in, right? So a track hoe, go out and build and dig a trench. And you could say, well, look you're putting all these people out of work with shovels. But you go, is really digging a big trench with a shovel, is that really a great job for somebody?
Right.
Maybe we can give them something better to do. And
Well,
and
and
I
I'm
think the same thing with AI and all these other tools that are out there.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in on that and say you're always, of course, full of wisdom and 100% right, Scott. But being the responsible host, I need to let
Somebody's got to
everybody
do it.
know that, yeah, we're already over time. So it's time to wrap up for today. And we're going to let each of you, Ellie and Conrad, give your last little bit of wisdom, your gold nugget of the day. Let everybody know how they get in touch with you. And Ellie, we're going to start with you first.
Oh, okay. Yes. In the announcement of the event, there are my contacts, and everybody is welcome to contact me and take the conversation further, or I can consult that person for their own business for the usage of AI chatbots. But what I want to say is that look deep inside of you if you think the new technologies are not for you, and ask yourself why. And if you discover that why is equal to fear from technology, forget about that and go forward. This is something that we learn. Nobody was born knowing all the technology. 20 years ago, we didn't use smartphones. 30 years ago, I was using typing machine to write my articles. We learn on the go, learning while we are alive, it becoming a nature of our life and our being. So don't be afraid of technology. Go forward and use it as much as possible to make your life much easier and more happier.
Perfect. Perfect. Do you want to give everybody those couple connection points, how they get in touch with you?
Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn. And from there, they also can, or they can email me. The email is right now in the chat, or they can go to our website at umni.bg. My phone number is there. The phone of the company is my phone number, so they can also find me in WhatsApp or other messenger. I'm on most of the messengers with this telephone number.
Perfect. Perfect. So great. Conrad, you're up next.
Yeah. Russ Scott, thank you so much for this time. For everyone listening, I want to invite you to be as aware as you possibly can, as Ellie mentioned, about just what's going on with the state of technology and the progressing movements in business as a result to date. But I also want you to be well. I want you to make sure that with respect to your time and what you're focusing on, I don't want you to be overly busy. I don't want you to be overwhelmed, whether in the sort of psychological sense, but also even in just the physical sense of having too many things to do. That's not what we put our time and attention on towards. We're not here to sit in the trenches, digging out with shovels. We want to, as Scott said, we want to sort of step away from that and yes, give that responsibility to, one person who's got this big machine that can take care of things. But ultimately, that's meant to make our lives a lot easier and better. I know that's a very simplistic answer, so I'm happy to chat more about it. Find me on LinkedIn. And find me through my website, wearewellaware.com.
That's so awesome. And as both of you were speaking, those contact information magically appeared, and they're in the comments, they're in the show notes. It's easy. It's clickable, everybody. You can just click right on it. Go to Ellie, go to Conrad, and get more information. And, Conrad, I want to say one thing that I think about that sums up what you said and what Scott said, and that is you should be working on your business, not in your business. And we all get caught up in that, where we get caught up, sucked into digging the trenches instead of getting the machinery to dig the trenches while we are working on our business. And that's something we all need to work on constantly. So thank you for that. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to both of you today, but hang tight. We're going to send you to the green room. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right there after we wrap up.
Thank you.
And I always do that. I always cut them off as they're saying goodbye. Ellie, there you go.
Well, fabulous. Years ago, I actually did programming some chat bots, but it was just a decision tree. If they say yes, then it goes here. If they say no, it goes here, and then so forth. But it's very stilted and not a great experience for the customer. And so I really love what Ellie is doing. And it's going to, as the technology improves and people get more used to it, it's really going to improve the experience when we're looking for information, we're looking for help.
Right. Well, and I think that I have learned, Scott, and I know you have, and that is collaborating with other people to make yourself more productive and more knowledgeable is really the key. We are better together because I am not good at so many things that you do, Scott, but you are great and willing to work with me and make me better in those areas. There may be one or two areas I can help you with. I mean, we all help each other out.
Let me just throw this out. Ever in the background. What a great partner. Now, Russ, you're a member of, I don't know how many chambers. You go to so many different live events every week and connect with people because that's what Russ does. But making the graphics and doing the postings, although you could do it, Ever does it better.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Let me say ching ching. Exactly. And she is an amazing teammate. In fact, it allows me to do what you said, to do the things that I do well. Getting with people, connecting and building community, doing all those things are things that I do amazingly well. And that's not to pat myself on the back. That's what God gifted me to do. And it's all, I give all the glory to God for that, but that is what God gifted me to do. And that's what I should be doing. That is my passion, my purpose, wherever in the background, who is like a sister to me, who is an amazing person and who is also amazingly good at what she does, takes care of all those details for you and I, Scott. And I'm so thankful for that. It was probably one of the best connections and community that I ever made was with her. And I'm so thankful for that. So that just is going to say to everybody, listen to what Scott says, get people that are better at things than you are and make those things happen. And with that, I want to remind you that we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time every week on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And this is just a half-hour show unless we decide to talk 6 or 7 minutes longer. And then give or take. And we have found with our new show, The Experience Local, which is every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time and broadcast on radio at 6 p.m. Mondays. We have to be exact on that because radio is a little more precise. But this show, we have a little bit of leeway, so it's all good. So, Scott, any last quotes or last moments of wisdom before we go?
We're getting a shout out, a request for Kermie.
Oh, I know. Well, because you know what? If you want to be happy, all you have to do is bring Kermie in the room because there you go.
That's perfect.
Oh,
well, always great to hang out with you, Russ. Just you're a great friend and a good brother, and I just appreciate all those little text messages and reminders that you're praying, and I know many other people get that benefit from you as well.
Well, and let me tell all of you, as we get ready to go out for today, we'll be here next Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on the Experience Backstage, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Instagram only, and every week. And you know what? Scott and I are always here. RussHedge.com. If you know our names, RussHedge.com and DScottSmith.com, you can find us. We are always here to add value to you. We're always here to consult and work with you. We're always here to collaborate with you. Just reach out because everything is worth a good conversation. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for this week. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Until then, have a wonderful life and
enjoy the experience.
Woohoo!
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.